Hey everybody, Ethan here, and you're on my side of the room. Today I want to tell you about my new bass. Now, this is something I said I wasn't going to do. And when I said I wasn't going to do it, that was something I told myself I was not going to do this. But here we are, I did it. But my rationale was, I'm looking at my bass herd, and I've got my lovely Zematis, I've got my lovely Greco, I've got my lovely Sire, and I'm pretty well set. I am big into redundancy. He says a lot, repeatedly. And so, to that end, the Zematis is backed up by the Greco, so jazz bass that's very expensive, backed up by jazz bass that's expensive but not as expensive. And then the Sire is backed up by nothing because I only had 3 basses. And because of band practice, I'm bringing my bass back and forth every week to practice and throwing it in the back seat and the whole bit and then lugging it around. And I thought about it like, you know what? I really want a cheap bass that I can just leave there. And then, God forbid anything bad happens, it's like, well, it was, in this case, $200, so I don't want to just throw in $200 out the window, but on the other hand, I can feel less bad about it than if something happened to the Zematis. So, I was looking at a black smoker bass, which is gorgeous. And for me, it really is the white whale. You'd think it would be the Zematis, and it's no knock on Zematis. I love this bass to death, and it's very much a flex whenever I do haul it out and show somebody that I have one. But day in and day out, my go-to bass is the Sire. And it's my cheapest bass. I mean, it's not even air quotes. I mean, it is my cheapest bass at $500 US. And now my cheapest bass is around my neck, and it cost me $200 US with free shipping through Reverb. Now, this is 100% not sponsored. If I'm ever sponsored, I will certainly let you know. I'm a big believer in disclosing that and not being a cheeky bastard. And the thing is that no, I couldn't justify a black smoker. Reverb had a used one that was gorgeous. And I mean, I would so love to have that thing. It was so it. Now the thing, it was a jazz bass though. It was part of it where I'm like, I already have 2 jazz basses. I really can't justify a third. In that, it's like then the succession would be, okay, I have the black smoker, which is backed up by the Zematis, which is backed up by the Greco, and then the Sire is still backed up by nothing. And so I'm like, no, I can't get this black smoker. Maybe someday, just today is not that day. And so I kept some screenshots of the black smoker to cry over. But no, I can't. All right, so fine. But then Facebook ads plus whatever the hell else is like, how about Harley Benton? And I'm like, no, because I don't think Harley Benton's all that great, but whatever. And they're like, but it's really nice and gorgeous looking. Like, okay. It's on Reverb. Like, what's the Harley Benton situation on Reverb? Well, the situation was they had this brand new from Reverb for $200 with free shipping. So I'm like, you know, I can do $30 a month and finance this. Like, so it's like reasonably negligible to just pay it off through the 6 months. More so than I could justify financing $1,800 on a used black smoker that was very well kept. I mean, it's so well kept it might as well be brand new. So it's just one of those, again, someday. But so for this entry into the market here, this is, as it turns out, what I bought was Harley Benton's most popular bass in Europe. And it's their whatever SBK bass. I'll have to put the model number in the description or the title or whatever the hell I end up doing with this editing. But yes, it's a P bass. Yes, it's, well, very matte. It's not string through, but this is a fine looking bass, I'd say. I mean, this is supposed to be like, entry level, whatever. But this, I've found the quality of this specific bass has been excellent. No complaints. I love that satin neck. I always love satin necks. I don't like urethane or whatever the hell Fender does with their Squire stuff. Some of their Squire ones, like there's a walnut one that looks really nice. I'm like, one day I'm like, okay, well, I'll get the Squire one as my backup one to do what I'm doing with this one. And I'm pick up a Guitar Center, and it's just, God, that urethane or whatever the hell they did to the back on the neck, it's just like, I'm like, no. And the place was air conditioned. It wasn't like I was out in some Florida swamp or whatever. It was like just, but my hand just was completely just doing this down the neck, like, oh no, I love that smooth satin neck. Love it, love it. And then I don't know what's going on with this fingerboard. It's not ebony. It looks and acts like it. I prefer to, when I take the strings off, I prefer to oil the fretboard. This is the first time I've gotten one of these that I haven't been like, well, get the fretboard oil off, because this is so slick that I don't think I need to do it. I might do it just as a preventative, but. So I'm not going to do tone demos because there's people who do it way better than I do. I'll link a couple things in the description just so you get an idea of like what the tone demos are. But it's a P bass, so if you know what a P bass sounds like, this is what that sounds like. My one complaint about this bass, other than it's not free, is the strings. I really don't. Now, if you're into this, you're like, what problem? They're so jangly and so bright. I don't like that. So tomorrow, literally, as I'm filming this, I'm going to be putting flat wounds on once they get here from Amazon. And then that'll be nice because my Sire will have flat wounds. This will have flat wounds. The Zematis and the Greco have round wounds, but I'm not sponsored again. My preference is, if it's round wounds, I would prefer Stringjoy, but I don't always have Stringjoy money. And so then my backup is Roto Sound. There's a blue bag of strings that are like warm or whatever they're rated. And as round wounds go, I think that they're pretty good. So they're a bit, rubby on your fingers compared to, flat wound. But they're not terrible. And again, they're not bright and jangly like this. It is that warm sound that they say they are. So for the $18, whatever, I really can't complain. So other than that, I haven't really noticed if this pickup is microphonic. I don't believe it is. If it is, well, it's so not an issue. Like, it just hasn't ruined everything by being so microphonic. I will make a point of checking and seeing after I'm done filming this video. But on Amazon, you can usually find Alnico pickups for in the range of $30. You can just drop in here and do. I'm trying not to futz with this. I'm trying to just let it be what it is, and what it is the backup bass. It's the backup bass that, honestly, I would be fine gigging with this. I really think that for what's supposed to be kind of an entry-level beginner bass, I think that they've done an outstanding job of putting this together. And it's so eye-catching and so nasty looking. I don't think you have to be like a metalhead to appreciate this, and then feel like you have to only play Black Sabbath music or something, but you could. I mean, just look at this, the way it's aggressively, hey, yeah, stick it in your face. But anyway, God, when I saw this though, it's like, oh, this is just so nice and so gorgeous. And for $200, sure, absolutely, why not? So anyway, this is just a little bit of consciousness raising about Harley Benton. Thomann is the company out of Europe that does this. They're kind of like the Guitar Center of Europe. I don't know what else to compare them to here in the domestic U.S., but that seems like a fair comparison. And through their Harley Benton line, they've decided they're going to knock off everything. So, yeah, their Fender P-Bass knockoff. How about that, you know? They've knocked off different guitars. They've knocked off different basses. Honestly, if Cleopatra played the bass, at some point they'll knock it off and call it a Harley Benton. But, you know, it's funny is like with the Black Smoker logo, it's like a bee that's etched into the headstock usually. And so when I was trying to find out what Black Smoker even was, and all I had to go on was the bee in the headstock from videos I'd seen. They were like, oh, you mean this? Like, no. But, you know, I like the Harley Benton scrawly stuff here and the HB on the headstock. It's nice. It doesn't do anything to your sound or anything. It's just an aesthetic thing. Tuners are fine. They tune. They stay there. They don't... I had a Glary that was like you needed a torque wrench to turn those things. They were so tight and they would fight you every step of the way. And yet the bass wouldn't stay in tune. So anyway, kind of a modder's dream, I would imagine, but I think that could be said for a lot of cheap basses, but I don't feel the need. I really think that right out of the box, this thing is good to go. Give it a look if you like. I can't guarantee that Reverb is going to have one for $200 with free shipping anymore, but if they do, and you like the cut of this jib and you want one for you, then get it. And if you want the Black Smoker Ion, I hate you, but, you know, I got to respect the game. Anyway, well, that's enough about that nonsense right now. Thanks for watching. Keep learning, keep playing, and I'll catch you in the next video.